it's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, the numbers from the pay per view. Actually, I have the numbers from the Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz fight as well. And I'll see if I can get a hold of Wilder versus Hellenius when that's available after the fight happens. But the pay per view buys. So, as you saw in the beginning of the video, they just broke the 40,000 pay per view buy mark. Look, I've been saying this for the longest. I will say it, and with a quick explanation. If boxing had tournaments in every single division, it would, one, motivate the fighters to be in the best shape they possibly can be in. It would motivate them to take their craft more serious. And every fighter, real fighter, wants to be a part of something big. So if they did that and they had these title eliminators more often, they had these tournaments more often, that should set up for a pay-per-view. Every fight is not a pay-per-view fight. And every card is not a pay-per-view card, which means the fans are getting robbed, and it goes to show you to this very day. That's why if you have 7 fights on the card, like the first 3 to 4 fights, the building's half empty. Everybody's out on the red carpet taking photos, making TikTok videos. They don't even know who's fighting. Okay, so if they did that, it would help boxing, it would help it grow, and then you'd have more quality fights. Because guess what? These people are trying to make it to a pay-per-view match. Just imagine, look at the quality of the fights we get. Okay, most of the fans don't even know the guys that's in there. They just know the main event guys. A whole lot of them don't. So what happens if, just say for example, you just had Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Now let's just say Wilder versus Hellenius ends up being no. This is another title eliminator. I don't even see how Ortiz was in a title eliminator match. But anyway, but now you got Andy Ruiz versus Wilder. This is going on the pay-per-view. The most they got to figure out is which fight on the pay-per-view is going to be the main event. Okay, but at the end of the day, you got Ruiz versus Wilder on this pay-per-view. Now let's just say you have Caleb Plant fight someone, Benavidez fight someone, they win their title eliminators, they make it to the pay-per-view. So now you got Wilder, Ruiz, you got Benavidez, Plant. Now let's just say you go down to 47. And every fight doesn't have to be based on a title eliminator, but if you did that, you could put cards together. You can put them together better. And this wouldn't be something that happened overnight, because boxing has got so far out of hand that they would, everybody's trying to figure out, okay, wait, we gonna lose money? Well, we gonna do that? How? No, hell no, we can't let that happen. No, but if your fighter wants to fight the best fights, all it is trying to keep it in-house, it will actually eliminate that bullshit. Because you know what? For them to try, if the rules of boxing changed and they did things where it is the fans is not being cheated and these guys are still making their money, what ends up happening if they try to do it? Look, somebody talked about the PBC having a big stable. They have the majority of, as far as welterweights and shit like that, they have a nice amount of people, but they don't have enough to do what I'm saying and do it consistently. They don't have enough fighters. You need boxers in general. See, but for people that say, yeah, but that's not going to happen, probably not, but that's part of the problem. People have become complacent with what they don't like. 40,000 pay-per-views is horrible. I told you guys, Andy Ruiz is not a pay-per-view star. Every fighter, you're going to see, Wilder versus Hellenius is going to do the same shit. I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but it's going to fail. This will not be no fucking $1 million, what they want. They want to be able to get millions of people around the world buying the pay-per-view. They're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. You're going to see the numbers with Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz, it tanked as well. See, but here's the deal. Same thing, low numbers. You can win and holler, Viva Mexico, and all that. Yeah, that's all fine. But that doesn't make you a star. Don't get the people in attendance mixed up with the people around the world. See, we have this saying, this thing with certain fighters have a country behind them. So you think that automatically, because Manny Pacquiao was a pay-per-view fighter and he became one, and because of his popularity, you think that every Filipino fighter is going to have the same? You think because Canelo is a popular Mexican fighter, every Mexican fighter is going to have the same as him? No. That's not how that goes. Anthony Joshua, it's not that, like what I said, the only superstars that boxing, the only stars has been superstars, has been Canelo and Anthony Joshua. Because those two guys could fight lesser opponents and people will still come to see them. Anthony Joshua, you know, he has to get a big win. And pretty much, you know, because he's still in there. Anthony Joshua's still money. People, through time, you will see just how popular a fighter is, just how much demand it is for that fighter. Only time will tell, because, you know, you can lose your status. We know he just had a 2-fight losing streak, so we'll see. But I mean, all before that, it was just him and AJ and Canelo in terms of superstar. Tyson Fury's no superstar. Not only did he pick AJ because he felt like AJ is mentally weak, but also he knows who else is he going to fight to make the kind of money he wants. You understand? So, all of this thinking that just because you holler out the name of your country and hold your flag up, now I don't care where you're from. All right, if you're from America, wherever, you doing that is not going to make you a pay-per-view star. Every fight is not a pay-per-view fight. So if you had, just imagine all these title eliminators I'm talking about and these tournament style fights. So imagine if you had Wilder and Ruiz on one card, Tank versus Ryan Garcia. Imagine if you had that on one card. You got Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. This is pay-per-view worthy. This is what a pay-per-view should look like. A pay-per-view should not have a half-empty building until the last two fights. You don't see that shit in the UFC. You don't see it in bare knuckle brawling. You don't see it in K1. You don't see it in Muay Thai fighting. Boxing is the only full contact sport. You don't see professional wrestling doing that shit, and that's rigged. It's you know what I'm saying? It's sports entertainment. You don't see none of that just in boxing. Just boxing. Do you watch an NFL game and the building is half empty into the third or fourth quarter? No. Just in boxing. They do not care about the fighters on the undercard. But if you have every fighter's main event status, that's what a pay-per-view should be. You have to change the way things have been done because the old way is not working the way that people wanted it to. So here you go with a stinker of, why was Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz a pay-per-view anyway? Why? Why was that a pay-per-view? It shouldn't have been. Wilder and Helenius should not be a fucking pay-per-view. But what it will do is show you guys, damn, these guys are not as popular as I thought they were. It takes you to have the right dance partner, which is why I tell you, that's how you can see who's a superstar and who's not. Because if you even get 500,000 people to buy a pay-per-view, okay, and you're fighting against a guy that nobody really knows, that means the majority of those people, pretty much all of them, they're paying to see you fight. Now, it could be somebody else on your undercard they want to see, but at the same time, it's like, that's, to me, it's an embarrassing feeling. It should be for you guys to give these events and sit there and the building is quiet. A guy gets a spectacular knockout, but only about 75 people saw it because everybody's outside making social media videos and snapping shots. They paid a ticket. They don't even care about what's going on in the building till the main event starts. So, 40,000. That's horrible. That is not what a superstar does. And then when you look at these guys, see, my thing is they need to think of something, and they need to think of something now. Because at the end of the day, for the guys like Canelo, AJ, these guys 33 years old now. Before you know it, these guys are 36, 37. It's like, okay, he's definitely not the same now. This guy is not what he used to be. Okay, he's no longer the face of boxing. He's no longer the pay-per-view star. Who's next then? They need to give you better quality cards, and you will see. And this way, like even like the female, all female cards, I don't know how successful to be going forward with. I mean, the amount of people that they have right now in all divisions where you're putting these fights on. I'm not saying that they can't, but I mean, even if you had just say that same card I just said, if you had, a Shields versus Marshall type fight on there, this is what I'm saying. This would get everybody notoriety. Everybody would be in the building watching these fights instead of let's go take some selfies. Yo, let's go light up social media. This is something that I've been saying. Now, do I really think they're going to do it? No. But you know what? Somebody needs to. So even me saying this, somebody else might say it. Somebody else could say it. So guess what? It might make Mauricio and all these other people wake up, and different people, and go, you know what? We need to do something different. See, but because it's so much greed and everything's money driven, it's to the point where for this to actually happen, everybody has to benefit. So how do we get all parties involved in this works? This is where, the complications are going to come in. It's just different people, everybody being on board. So when you complain about Floyd and it's not, it's not Floyd, it's not just TMT. But when you complain about these guys that want to keep it all in the house, they're just bold enough to say it. You see it in other companies as well. Especially the thing is, if they don't have any stars, then it's like, well, yeah. Who do they have for their fighters to go out there and fight that they're gonna, become superstars? When I look at what's happening right now, it's nothing new. This has been going on. But if this right here doesn't show you that people need to wake up, they need to wake up. So let's just say Wilder, he beats Helenius, he fights Ruiz. Those numbers should be considerably higher than Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. And like I told you, Luis Ortiz is no star. There's no value in fighting Luis Ortiz. You guys can talk all this shit out. Don't get me wrong. Not being that popular does not mean you're not a good fighter. But basically, all of this talk about people ducking him, no, there's no value in him. This is what you people got to understand. On the business side of things, when you have your management team sitting there telling you, listen, you could fight this guy. He's a decent fighter, or he's a good fighter, or whatever. But nobody knows this guy. And even though you are a good fighter and have more notoriety than he does, nobody's tuning in to see him. It's all about you. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about you. So even though I expect you to beat this guy, what happens when he goes on to the next fight? And he's fighting these small arenas. He's not able, he can't headline anything. He's just a part of someone's card. Even if he was a good fighter, who's going to care? Because on your resume, through time, people will look and say, oh, that guy was a nobody. And this is not to discredit any fighter. This is just the reality. So if you thought in your mind that Luis Ortiz was popular, like this is going to be a Latino thing, Cuba versus Mexico, no, nobody really cared. And this is where people have this mentality where they think like, look, let me tell you something, and this is just reality. There's people that will applaud a fighter because they're from the same country. Wave their flag, they don't even know who the fuck this is. Oh, it's a fighter from my country. Oh, then they cheer for them automatically. They don't even watch boxing on the regular. This just hit. Look at George Kambosos. Him and Haney had a big crowd in Australia. And what is he saying? If I lose this fight, I can't go back to Australia. I can't. I have to win. I can't. Listen to what he's saying. What does it tell you though? If George Kambosos wasn't fighting Devin Haney, not to say that people wouldn't have came out and supported him simply because he's Australian and he's fighting back in Australia, they can say, we're proud we have an Australian that went out and became world champion. But what I'm saying to you, even though he did that, he's no big star. He's no big star. That's no different from somebody fighting in Newark, New Jersey. And they're from Newark, New Jersey, and then they sell out the Prudential Center. but they can't sell out the Barclays or they can't sell out Madison Square Garden. So you got to understand, if George Kambosos was even if he was a big star, he wouldn't be saying what he's saying now. You're not a big star just because look, Bivol just beat Canelo. Do you see Bivol's face all over the internet? Do you see his face all over magazines? And no, he beat Canelo. That's all. He beat Canelo. Great job. Oh, he was too big for Canelo. Blah blah. It's always something to try to take credit away. Bivol's no big star. Now he can go back to his country and fight and probably sell out an arena somewhere because we're proud. We're from the same country. You understand what I mean? Yeah. Again, a lot of people will do that, but they're not even fans of boxing. They're just supporting somebody from their country. I don't even remember what this. I don't know if it was a rapper or a singer or whatever. One of these singers, one of them Edith Bunker type voices. What we going tonight? Oh, a fight. Who fighting? I don't even know who that is. Hey, who gonna be there? Oh, I'm going. I don't know if y'all ever saw that. It's somebody was talking about it. It was some like I don't know if it was a documentary. It was a fucking commercial. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember this is probably like a couple of months ago. Whoever it was, and they were like, yeah, like so basically, yeah. And you know that you know the guy in the commercial or whatever it was says any and everybody who is somebody will be here. So I'm just going because either I was invited or because there's going to be celebrities there and I want to go on the red carpet and expand my brand. I don't remember who the hell she was, but that right there is what I'm talking about. People do things because they want to feel like they're a part of something big, not necessarily because they even care about the sport itself. And for you to holler at Viva en Mexico and all that, and then you only able, you and Ortiz together get 40,000 pay-per-view buys. That just goes to show you these guys are no stars. It's not just a PBC thing. Now I will say this, and I don't care, you know, everybody have their opinion. This is my opinion. I think Eddie Hearn is putting on the best boxing cards that he possibly can. I don't see Eddie Hearn as somebody like, let's just put a fight on there just because. No, I feel like he's trying to put on the best boxing cards that he can. The thing is, okay, when a boxer is not known globally, even if they put on an excellent card, it becomes a thing of either you're going to get to know them, okay, and what I mean, like when I say either you're going to get to know them or you're going to get to know them too late, means you'll get to know them, their star will shine, or they'll get that recognition after they done took a lot of abuse to their bodies and been in the sport for a while, and now it's one of those things of, damn, I wish we'd have got a hold of him earlier in his career. You know, we saying that same thing happened to Sergio Martinez. Solid fighter, but he started getting notoriety like late in his career. So it seemed like it was over before it started with him. This is something right now that, and honestly, I mean, me even saying what I'm saying, somebody can piggyback off of what I'm saying and have ideas. You never know who's listening and who you might actually influence to say, you know what, damn, that's a great idea. Because I'm going to be honest with you, boxing fucking sucks right now. Boxing sucks. Because you have fighters that go in the ring and they have the heart to go in there. They've done a lot for the sport, but people depreciate them. Then you have overrated fighters who done much of nothing, but they talk shit. They beat nothing but bums. Let's just be real. And I don't like to call fighters bums, but let's just be real. They beat nothing but bums, and all of a sudden, they're super great. Then you have people that's just manufactured and pushed the right way, but they talk, but they don't back it up. They have endorsements, all types of shit. Boxing fucking sucks. People don't want to fight each other. Only the young, hungry lions want to fight. Everybody else just gets to the point where, you know, all right, whatever, I don't need you, you need me. And then you look and think, like, for a fighter to even say, for anybody to even make up in their minds that a fighter has gotten to the point they can pick and choose who they want to fight, I'll say that for another video, but that's BS. 40,000 pay-per-view buys with the former unified champ of the world versus the guy you all say is the boogeyman. Where's his followers? Why only 40,000 people bought this pay-per-view? And Believe me when I tell you, Helenius and Wilder is not going to be any better. It's going to be another fail. That's not a pay-per-view fight. That is not a pay-per-view fight. And I told you guys before, the way we get our point across, don't support bullshit fights. I'll be damned. And I'll be damned if I'm going to order Wilder versus Helenius. I'll be damned if I was going to order Andy Ruiz versus Ortiz. You understand? No. Hell no. No. If you had tournaments, if you had title eliminators, and you made this like a consistent and mandatory thing of like this is going to happen. Now, if the fighters pull out, certain fight, okay, they pull out, they miss their chance. See, this is why I don't. What? The thing is, these fighters have been allowed to become complacent. They have a comfort zone. What excuse would you have for not wanting to be a part of something historic and big? And this is what boxing is going to do for that one. This is what it is. Why would you not want to be a part of that? See, but like I said, they have this, I'm the man. No, I'm the man. Okay, well, I'm the man over here. You stay on your side of the street and rule over there. I'm going to rule over here. I don't need you. I don't need you either. So they don't care. They never fight each other. That's where these fighters are. I think it's pathetic for the unified champ of the world to be in the fight and they only have 40,000 people. Andy Ruiz is not busy enough. He's fought 2 back-to-back over-the-hill guys. And so now, it's like, if Wilder decides that he's going to fight him because his fight being a title eliminator, I'm saying, well, shit, you got Joseph Parker versus, Joe Joyce. Well, truth be told, shit, Joseph Parker beat Andy Ruiz in the fight when they fought. And I don't care if people that say, well, I thought Andy really won. Well, the judges didn't. And at the end of the day, guess what? That's a former champ of the world as well. So either way, he should fight the winner, whether it's Joe Joyce or Parker, whether it's, or Andy Ruiz, whoever, whichever. He should have to fight one of them. Don't call it a title eliminator if he gets to go in there and then fight Charles Martin or rematch Gerald Washington or fight Adam Kalinowski. Don't call it a title eliminator if that's what happens. If this is a title eliminator, he should have to fight the winner of another title eliminator. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. So this is how you keep this thing going. It makes no sense if he can pick and choose, or any of them. But because he showed up at the fight, I told you guys how I already feel. He was in there like this. Ortiz, come on, man, come on. I know I can still beat you. Come on, let's go. That's what he was there for. So he was at their fight. So you have an interest in fighting the winner. Notice how he said, if after I fight Helenius, I get past Helenius, then if all roads lead to that, and that's how I set up, that's what we do, then we can get it on. No, the question was, do you want? See, this is the thing. It's always if this, if that. I think personally, if people stop ordering these bullshit pay-per-views and stop, I just love boxing. Well, if you love boxing, you should be a part of restructuring it. Because people will realize, damn, nobody's buying these pay-per-views anymore. No, it's not about giving us a bunch of free fights on TV. That's bullshit either. Start giving us better cards. When you got a guy sitting up here making millions of dollars, and just say it's 6 big stars in his division, and he ain't fought none of them yet, and he's already rich. Do you think he care about what we're saying? No, because they're getting money, and that's all. If you look at it, that's all you hearing more than anything else. Now we getting money over here. We getting money. Yeah, we know, and I feel like you should be well compensated. But is that your drive? That's what you're chasing only? They don't care about. They do not care. Okay, just like rappers back in the day were so nice, they were so skilled. Because they wanted to be the best rapper. This is not the focus now. This focus is, I'm about that money. I get on here and say, bibbity bobbity boo, fuck you, you, and you. If that shit sells, I'm going to make a part 2. Simple. They don't care about legacy. They don't care about having a nice catalog. No, they all about money. If it sells, it sells. The fighters have the same thing. Boxing has changed. The powers that be is still making money without taking punches, without getting brain damage. The fighters are the ones in there, and they like, nah, fuck that. I get that, but it's like I said, you see, they don't want to take the tough fights. Change the rules of boxing instead of making up all these little bullshit trophy belts. Simple. 40,000. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.